Another episode of fun, fitness, and fat loss, and a bit of fuckery and a bit of everything else. Welcome to this week's live, and apologise, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on. Said this was a weekly event, but I missed the last couple of weeks. But I'm back, and I'm looking forward to doing a Q&A with you guys on anything around fitness, fat loss, health, mindset. Let's see what we get. See, I like to be taken for dinner and drinks first before you slip your hands in Swanica. Call me old-fashioned. I'm kind of a big deal. Sake. No. Boom. You guys can hear me okay. Please let me know if you can hear me. And if you can't, let me know if you put it in the chat. If you can say if you're on and say where you're from. If you've got any questions, drop them in. Please let me know if you can or can't hear me. I couldn't actually hear that video playing. Don't know why, but please let me know if you can hear me. Right, here we go on. People slowly coming on. All right, Haley, hello. You can hear me. Good. For some reason, when I played that intro video, I couldn't hear the video, so I don't know why that is the case. Haley, how are you doing? You okay? Awesome. Louise. Hello, Louise. Long time no hear. So today is just an open-ended Q&A on anything around fitness, fat loss, health, whatever. Let's see what we get. I've got a couple of topics I want to look at, a couple of areas of bones of contention, but a few areas that have cropped up over the last couple of weeks. A few people have asked a few questions on email. I'm going to cover some of them. But if anyone's got any questions now, please let me know. We'll cover them first. If not, we'll get into some of the ones that I want to look at. Haley, obviously, you're a client of mine already. Louise, it's been a long time since I saw you back in the day in Kings Lynn. All right, she's okay. Well, look, I'll answer one of the questions. This is a question from a guy a couple of weeks ago, and I hear this all the time. How much protein can you absorb at one time? Because these few myths around, you can only, if you have too much protein in one sitting, you'll only absorb a certain amount. Now, the truth is you absorb all of it, but the question, what people really mean when they say that is, how much is going to go towards building muscle? How much will help you build muscle? And that's where the research is kind of showing that we need about 25 to 30 grams, possibly more, to elicit what's called MPS, which is muscle protein synthesis. So I give an example what that exactly means. So if you had 100 grams of protein in one sitting, muscle protein synthesis would definitely be switched on. Muscle protein synthesis is what needed to elicit change in the muscle, whether you grow, whether you get stronger. So effectively that 70 grams of protein extra is kind of wasted. It won't make you any more anabolic. You're still going to get the benefits of protein. There's still going to be calories. There's still going to be lots of, the thermic effect of food, the TF of food. It's going to burn calories. And it's still 100 grams of protein is going to be worth 400 calories in the body. So your body will process that. But the 25 to 30 grams is going to switch on muscle protein synthesis. And the extra 70 grams is going to be not going to do anything. It's like shooting someone in the head once. Extreme example. No, I recommend shoot someone in the head once and they're dead. There's no point in then put another 3 bullets in them because it's not going to make them any more dead. And that's the same with eliciting that response, muscle protein synthesis. So what we want to do really for building muscle and burning body fat, we want to have small, frequent feedings of protein throughout the day, which is why most people that are building muscle want to have between 3 and 5 feedings. Fat loss, it doesn't really make any difference. As long as you're getting protein over the whole day, a good amount of protein, keeping your calories and you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to burn body fat. And that could be 2 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals. It doesn't make any difference. It really doesn't make any difference. All right, Jared's on. Cool. Thanks, mate. So that's it's more of a question that comes from guys, to be perfectly honest. That's not to say that ladies wouldn't be interested in that, but it's more of a question I get from guys around building muscle and bodybuilding and getting in shape and six pack. So the answer is you will absorb all of the protein. Doesn't matter if you had a 50 grams, 70 grams, 100 grams, but is it going to be any more effective in terms of anabolism? And anabolism just means building. The opposite of this is catabolism. That's where you break down. So to be more anabolic, we want to have small feedings of 25 to 30 grams or a bit more. And look, and there's some research is showing that larger people, if someone's 100 kilos, 130 kilos, maybe they might need 40 or 50 grams per sitting. And certainly if someone is 130, 140 kilos, bodybuilder or powerlifter, only getting 25, 30 grams of protein per meal, they're probably going to need 10 meals to get the amount of protein that they would probably want to build as much muscle as they're trying to do. Does that make sense? For the average person that's watching this live, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, what's more important is the amount of protein you get over the day. So I'll answer that question as well. A lot of people say, well, how much protein do I actually need? Well, the RDA, and that's the recommended daily amount, is not that much. It's probably anywhere between 45 to 70 grams of protein per day, depending on the size of the person. Okay, I think it's 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. So if you're 70 kilos, I'm not going to work out exactly what 0.8 is, but it's about 45, 50 grams, maybe a bit more. If you're only 50 kilos, that's RDA. That's the amount of protein you would need for normal repair, normal regeneration, staying alive, functioning, all the, for your skin, for your hair, your nails, your teeth, all these functions that we need just to be alive. That's the RDAs. But in terms of building muscle and burning body fat, well, you could even say with body fat, it's irrelevant. And it probably is. But we want to have a high amount of protein, a good amount of protein for all the benefits of that in terms of burning more calories, keeping you satisfied, satiety levels. But I like to get my clients to aim for about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of intended body weight. Okay, so let's say you're 90 kilos, which is what is about 190 pounds if you're using pounds in America, North America. Work out in kilos, you can work out in pounds, but I like to work out in kilos. Let's say you're 90 kilos and your aim is to get to 70 kilos. If you were looking at the top end of protein, 70 times 2 is 140 grams of protein. That would be a great goal, a great aim. Now, you could argue that as long as someone's getting a decent amount of protein, what's more important is the total calories they consume over the day in terms of fat loss, and that's absolutely true. But the reason I like to get my clients to aim for at least 1.5 to 2 grams, and any more than 2 grams is not going to do them any harm, but it's not going to benefit them anymore, is because the appetite. When someone's on a lower calorie diet, when I don't say low calorie, they're certainly controlling their calories. When someone reduces the calories, obviously people are going to get hungry. And let's face it, if you're trying to burn body fat, at times you will be a bit peckish. When you keep the protein high, it tends to stave off that hunger to a certain extent. So let's say someone's on 14 or 1500 calories, which is kind of on the low end, okay? You could eat 1500 calories if it was pure carbs and fat. Again, it's very hard to sort of gauge this, but that person would possibly be more hungry if they were only eating carbs and fat than if they were getting 100 grams or 120 grams of protein. Again, this is purely subjective. It's really down to the individual, but you want to be aiming for roughly 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of intended body weight. So that's that. A lot of questions around protein. All right. Jared, you don't have to. Jared is saying 10 meals. No. Definitely don't eat 10 meals a day. I'm just saying you could. Who would want to? I personally like to eat 3 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, and either a snack mid-morning or mid-afternoon, depending on how my routine is. You don't need, or sometimes 3 meals a day, 3 larger meals per day. What matters is the amount of protein you eat over the day. For most of you watching this live, the amount of protein over the day and the total calories. That's going to be the good rule of thumb. Okay, Kathy has asked a question. Hi, Kathy. Is there any truth to it? You eat too many times a day, the stomach is always expanding and not given a chance to rest? Well, I reckon that would really depend on probably the amount. So here's a stupid example. Let's say someone was eating 1,500 calories and they do 10 meals of 150 calories. Would that expand the stomach? No, it wouldn't, because the portion size would be so small. I think that would only be a problem if someone was eating. In fact, I don't even think it's a problem. I've never had that question. I think in terms of digestion, it's good to give the body a break, which is why I'm a big fan of fasting, but not for the reasons that people think that fasting is this magical. Just when you fast, you burn all your body fat. You don't. It still matters the amount of calories you're going to take in over the day. But by not eating, by skipping breakfast, by doing 16-8, which is where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour period, it can be really good for digestion, as in your body's not having to deal with food. But I've never actually heard that question before. My honest answer, it would depend on the calories. I don't think, to be fair, eating 2,000 calories in one meal and being really, really full and bloated would probably cause more problems than eating 3 meals of 700 calories. Does that answer that? Hopefully it does. Thanks for that, Kathy. But I've never had that question before. Kathy, where are you from? I know we've touched base on LinkedIn. Where are you actually watching this live from? Let me know. Anyone else that's in the chat, let me know where you're watching from. We've had Jared on, we've got Kathy, we've had Louise, we've had Haley. Awesome. Alrighty. Any more? Any more questions? Let me dig out a couple of questions that people have emailed in. She's in the basement at work. Awesome. I'm going to put this one to bed as well. You may have seen a video I put up a couple of days ago. She's in Dallas, Texas, obviously. A couple of days ago, I said breaking down some myths. Let's look at a few of those, because I still get asked, is there any benefit from doing cardio fasted or fed? And just to clarify for anyone that is not sure what that means, fasted means you would do it before you have breakfast, before you've eaten for the day. Fed is obviously having breakfast or even lunch and go after that. Now, here's the truth. 20 years ago, we all thought fasted cardio was the way forward. I'll tell you why, because there wasn't enough science or research behind it. And the only resources we had was professional bodybuilders. And all the magazines were saying fasted cardio. And this is how the theory goes, or how it works. If you've had your dinner at night, you've gone to bed, you've woken up with an empty stomach. The theory was, if you then went and did cardio, your body was more likely to tap into your body fat stores, as opposed to using the fuel that you'd taken for breakfast. So that was the theory. And for years and years, in fact, still many, many people in the fitness industry will do fasted cardio. And even now, pro bodybuilders that are in amazing shape and better shape than I've ever been are still telling their clients to do fasted cardio. In fact, they will still do fasted cardio. But the reality is, it's exactly the same. Whether you do it fasted or fed, it won't make any difference to your fat loss. But here's what happens. When you do fasted cardio, you will actually burn more fat during the session. Okay? But then as soon as you start to eat, you're going to burn less body fat over the rest of the day. If you do fed cardio, let's say you'd had breakfast and an hour and a half later, or whenever you thought was suitable to go and do cardio, you would burn less body fat in the session, but more over the rest of the day. But what really matters when it comes to your body fat is the net calories over the end of the day. If you're in a calorie surplus, it doesn't matter whether you do cardio, fasted or fed. You've got to be in a calorie surplus at the end of the day. and that's what will determine your fat loss. So the truth is, go and do your cardio whenever suits you. If you like going first thing in the morning, do it first thing in the morning. If you like doing it at your lunch break, don't worry that you're not going to burn the body fat that you want to. But please remember, cardio doesn't magically burn body fat. You can do all the best cardio, an intense hour every single day. It's just burning calories. Some of that could come from fat, some won't. But what will determine your fat loss is your calories over the end of the day. Are you in a calorie surplus or are you in a calorie deficit? And you're only going to burn calories. You're only going to burn body fat if you're in a calorie deficit. Okay. Right. Alex has asked a question. Hello, mate. Hello, Alex. Top class. Loved the video where you discussed superfoods. So simple and obvious, but nobody knows takes action. Thanks for the valid reminder. Thanks for that, Alex. Appreciate that. What were my top superfoods? I think I mentioned salmon, didn't I? Organic salmon, cold water salmon from the sea, not farmed. Blueberries, spinach. Did I mention spinach? Walnuts, almonds, and I missed. You know what I actually missed on that, Alex? I actually missed my favorite food: good quality, organic, high, omega-3 eggs. I missed that. I actually added that into that. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that post. 5 superfoods. Blueberries, yes. Did mention blueberries. Now, people watching, wild Alaskan salmon, don't kill me. I'm going to have a Diet Coke. And by the way, this is not going to spike my insulin. In fact, it might spike it, but it won't make any difference to whether I gain weight or lose weight. So let's talk about that, shall we? Because I mentioned that in the myth. Previous one, Diet Coke makes you fat. Bullshit. It doesn't. There's no calories. It's like saying to someone, I want you to build a house, but there's no bricks. How the fuck are you going to build a house? You can't get fat or you can't gain weight if there's no calories. And look, I've seen some studies that suggest that by drinking Diet Coke or a calorie-free drink with caffeine could suppress appetite. So it could actually help you burn body fat by lowering your desire to eat. Everyone's different. Won't make any difference. The only reason you'll gain body fat is by eating more calories than you burn. And there's no calories in that. I think there's 0.1 of a calorie. It's not technically calorie free. Less than 1 gram of carbohydrate. So if it gets that sweet taste, it stops you drinking or eating food. As it happens, I'm on a bit of a 4-week reduced calorie plan myself. I've got a friend's wedding, maybe, in Athens in 4 weeks' time, in exactly a month's time, actually, 2nd and 3rd of July. And hopefully, Greece, mainland Greece, is going to move to from amber into green, and then we can go on this trip. But more so for them. I'm looking forward to going, but I really want their wedding to go ahead. If I didn't go, it's not a big deal for me, but fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm trying to lose a few pounds. I'm about 80 kilos, 79.5 at the moment. I reckon I get to about 75, 76, and that will take me to be reasonably lean because I'm not fat at the moment. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Any more questions? Oh, we were talking about Diet Coke. So yeah, hopefully that clears that up. You can't gain body fat unless you're in a calorie surplus, and something that's got no calories is not going to take you into a calorie surplus. So diet drinks will not spike your insulin. And here's the confusion. Insulin is actually a fat storage hormone. So people think that when you spike it by eating sugar or high carb food, in fact, insulin is going to be released by the body, by the pancreas, anytime you eat. Anytime your blood sugar goes up, the body has to deal with that sugar, get it out of the blood. So what it does, it releases insulin from the pancreas to bring that back down again. But what often happens if you have a very high spike, it's actually too good at its job, and it will reduce your blood sugar. So you get the dips, and you get a constant yo-yo effect where someone has like a burst of energy, they feel up, and then they're down, feel ravenously hungry, start to sweat, and that's like hypoglycemia, when your blood sugar goes too low. So what do? Your body craves sugar, you go back up again. Okay, now insulin is actually a fat storage hormone. However, it will only store body fat if you're in a calorie surplus. So you could eat sugar all day long. Let's say I ate 800 calories and I had 4 bowls of cereal, 200 calories each meal. Cereal, like let's say it was some cornflakes with some milk, 4 times a day. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breakfast, snack, lunch, and dinner, 800 calories. Now, that would be dropping little insulin bombs in me all day long. My blood sugar would be going crazy. I'd probably be pretty irritable. I'd be starving, probably. Never done it. I'd be hangry. There'd be no nutrients, no fiber, no satisfaction. My body would be screaming out, eat more food. But let's say I stuck to 800 calories. Would I gain fat, even though I've been setting off those little insulin bombs all day long? The truth is no. How can you gain fat if you're actually eating less calories and you're burning? Simple equation, my friends. 800 calories coming in, burning probably 2,000 a day, but spiking my insulin and sugar all day long. Am I going to get fat? No. So it's irrelevant. Insulin is not the be all and end all when it comes to gaining body fat. It really isn't. Now, there is the argument calories in versus calories out, which I believe in. And that's the truth, if I'm being honest, against the insulin carbohydrate model. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. It just doesn't work. It's just not true. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about insulin. Harsh. Hello, Harsh. How you doing? Hope you're well, sir. Anyone with any more questions in the live chat? Let's have a look, see if I've missed anything. Okay, nothing in the chat. I get asked this question quite a lot as well, and it's one of those myths I mentioned in the last post. And this was the frequency of meals. Again, there's some debate, and I kind of touched on it before. Does it matter if you have 1 meal, 3 meals, 5 meals? Does that make any difference to fat loss? And a lot of people think, well, and I'll hold my hand up. Again, from the knowledge that I learned, or it's actually bullshit knowledge, or bro science they call it, from the pro bodybuilders, that eating small frequent meals would increase your metabolism. So we were told that if you were to have, say, 2 big meals a day, let's say you're eating 2,000 calories, and let's say each meal was 1,000 calories. It wouldn't be exact, but let's say it was 1,000 calories in some form of breakfast, and then 1,000 calories in some form of another meal, whether it was lunch or dinner, 2,000 calories. Now, the theory was that if you split the same calories into 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, the small feedings would actually speed your metabolism up. Now, what actually happens every time you eat, there will be a slight raise in your metabolic rate, but it doesn't matter. It's 2,000 calories is the same whether it's split into 1, 2, 3, or 5 meals. So that the effect on your metabolism will be identical. Let's say you had a meal of 300 calories, it's going to raise your metabolic rate by this much. 1,000 calories would raise your metabolic rate by that much. So again, what matters is how many calories you take in over the day is going to be your total daily energy expenditure, your metabolic rate. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. All right, someone has asked a question in the chat. Don't know their name. It says LinkedIn user. I'm sure that's not your name. What's the best regular routine to follow if you can't go to the gym? Would walking 10K steps really work? Yes, it would. Absolutely. If you can't go to the gym, no access to a gym, 10,000 steps a day would be a fantastic start. Be a fantastic start. Yeah, 10,000 steps a day. But make sure those steps are. Look, I've got a Fitbit on at the moment, and at the end of each day, it sometimes buzzes that I've done 10,000 steps. But that's walking from my office downstairs in the garden. Is that really the same as going for a half an hour, 45-minute walk? Definitely not. So make sure it's a brisk walk. I think 5,000 steps would take about 20 minutes, roughly. So 10,000 steps is maybe a 35 to a 40-minute brisk walk a day. If that's all you could do, if you were to control your food, be in a calorie deficit and went for a brisk walk every single day, you could certainly get great results in terms of fat loss. Obviously, from walking, you're not going to build any muscle because you're not doing anything to break the muscle down and build muscle back up. You're not going to change your physique, but could you lose body fat? Absolutely. I had a lot of clients that lost a lot of weight last summer in the height of the lockdown, had no kit at home, were quite overweight, would be classified as obese clients. And walking was their first port of call. They were doing 3 or 4 walks a week, 5,000 to 10,000 steps, 3 or 4 times a day. Some of them lost 20, 30 pounds. Absolutely. So hopefully that, Vinay, hello, mate. So hopefully that's answered that question, Vinay. You absolutely would be great. You could maybe want to chuck in some body weight routines as well. You could do some press ups, some squats, some lunges, a plank. There's a million body weight exercises you could do. So find a good plan there. Get your steps up. Absolutely, you'll make a big difference for sure. What are you trying to do? You're trying to burn body fat. What's the goal? Paul, Tom, is it Tom Lowe or Tom Love? Tom Lowe. Paul from the Netherlands. Hello, Paul. How you doing, mate? Are you Dutch or are you from somewhere else, Paul? But hello. Good to see you. If you've got any questions, we're talking fat loss, health, fitness, mindset, anything you want to know around those subjects, nutrition, hit me with the questions. We'll get straight into them. Okay, cool. Vinay said it's for losing weight. Yep. Awesome. Tom Lowe. Okay, cool. Good to have you here, Paul. If you've got any questions, Vinay, where are you watching this from? Let me know. Anyone that's joining now, write in the chat where you're from. If you've got any questions, please let me know. So what are the questions I get? Let's look at some of those myths. We looked at diet drinks. We looked at fasted cardio. We looked at meal frequency. What's some of the other questions I get around fat loss? Let me think. Myths. Toning my physique. Cool. Tell me what you want to know, Paul. Tell me what you want to know about toning your physique. You're trying to lose weight, you're trying to put a bit of muscle on, trying to shape up. Give me a little bit of clarity on that. All right, before we come to that, I'll you, by all means, drop in the chat. Another question I get asked all the time is how important is sleep? And by getting bad sleep, will it stop us getting great results or losing body fat? Now, it's the 2 parts to that question. All right, Maura's come on. I'll come to that in a sec. In fact, Maura, hold that question. I'm going to put you up on the screen. Maura, I'm going to come to you in a sec. Let me quickly talk about sleep. We actually burn body fat when we sleep. Small amounts. That's our body's preferred source of fuel when we sleep. We're not burning carbohydrates, we're burning a small amount of sleep. So by getting bad sleep, you're going to stop burning a little bit of body fat. But that's not the whole picture. What really happens when you get messed up sleep is it interferes with 2 important hormones, leptin and ghrelin. Leptin's our satiety hormone, ghrelin's our hunger hormone. When those get messed up, you're never full, you're never satisfied, and you're always hungry. You've got these hormones screaming at you, I'm not full, eat more food. So what people tend to do when they've had a poor night's sleep, and when I say poor, less than 6 hours is considered poor for most people, maybe less than 7 even. It tends to make people overeat because they're at the mercy of their hormones. Very often their hormones are screaming, I'm hungry, you need to eat more food. So people tend to overeat when they have bad sleep. And what also happens when people tend to have bad sleep, they tend to miss their workout sessions. Like if you've had 4 or 5 hours of broken sleep, what are the chances of you getting up at 5:30 and going for that 5K run or the gym? You may still go, but the chances are probably massively diminished. So you're probably going to use less energy the day. What you might miss your workout, or your run, or your gym session, or your aerobics class, whatever you do. And it's been proven that when you've had less sleep, you tend to move less during the day. So your total energy expenditure massively decreases when you've had poor sleep. So that it's twofold. So by getting bad sleep, will it automatically stop you losing body fat? No. If you still didn't overeat and were in a calorie deficit and still went to the gym, burn the same calories, but it probably would in the long run. But in terms of health, getting bad sleep is the worst thing we can do for our health. Hopefully that's mentioned that. So back to Maura's question. Thanks for the question. Is weight training 5 or 6 days a week too much? I wouldn't necessarily it was too much, but I would think, is it necessary? Here's the thing. If you can train properly 5 times a week, weight training, you're not training hard enough. You're just not training hard enough. I'm 47 now. Bloody hell. Which means I've been training properly since the age of 15. So 32 years. And in my best shape, the best condition I ever got in was when I was training weights no more than 4 times a week. When I went to 4 times a week, and this is in my late 20s, early 30s, when I went to 4 times a week, I tended to pick up more injuries. Me training 3 times a week, and that's proper heavy weight training that's going to get the best bang for your buck. I would suggest that training 5 or 6 days a week, you're probably not making the sessions intense enough. If you were my client, Maura, I would put you on 3 times a week weights and maybe get a couple of aerobic sessions in there, some cardio, and focus on the diet. That's what would be my prescription. 55 years old, awesome. What are your goals? What are you trying to do? Trying to build muscle, trying to burn body fat, stay in shape, get strong? Give me a little bit of context, and then I can answer that question better. But I would, if you're training, put it this way, if you're a professional athlete, bodybuilder, powerlifter, they're going to train 5, 6 days a week. Not all, but every professional bodybuilder is taking PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. So if you're taking drugs, you can train 5, 6 days a week. If you're natural, which I'm assuming you are, being a woman and 55, you're probably not taking performance enhancing drugs 5 times a week. You're not training hard enough to get the best results. And that's just me being honest. Okay. Lee. Hello, Lee. Lee, you've got a damaged knee, waiting for MRI. Any good leg exercises that don't stress my knees? Squats hurt. Want to get more toned. Lee, have you got, is it cartilage or is it ligaments? Because I've had torn meniscus, which is cartilage, and I couldn't do anything on my legs when I was waiting. I had MRI, and then I could build up after I actually had them repaired slightly. So I couldn't give you any prescription on that, if I'm completely honest, mate, because one, I don't know the problem, don't know how painful it is or the severity of the injury. Go to a decent osteo, get that MRI diagnosis and find out what he would, but there's loads of exercises that can strengthen that. But I'll be honest, I hold my hand up. I'm not a rehabilitation specialist. I don't want to tell you to go and do something and then it damages more, makes it worse. So get the diagnosis properly. However, there's a lot of things you could do upper body, and you can control your calories. You definitely get more tone without training legs. I can't train legs at the moment. I can't even walk. I've got hip injuries. I've got what's called gluteal tendinopathy, which is 2 small tendons between the hip bone and the glutes. The tendon is actually strained or damaged or torn. We're not sure, but I've not been able to do any cardio. I can't do any cardio at the moment. I can't even walk without any pain. Standing here is actually a bit painful, but I'm doing upper body and controlling my calories. That would be my prescription at the moment, for sure. All right, Paul is getting strength back. losing the gut. That's what he's trying to do. Gail, thanks for that. Great discussion. Thank you. What's the best way to put on size? Alex Carter. Is that the Alex Carter? I hope it is. I only know one Alex Carter. Alex, best way to put on size? Are we talking natural or unnatural? If you're going unnatural, get all the drugs in you. That's the best way to put size on. If assuming that you don't want to take drugs, it's a quite open-ended question. Best way to put on size. If someone came to me, a guy, and not saying that a lady wouldn't want to do this, but it's generally most guys, best way to put size on, weight training 3 or 4 times a week. 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Again, depending on their size, how much they want to put on. I'm not a big fan of bulking up, but the training would be focused on squats, deadlifts, bench press, heavy pulls, heavy rows, compound exercises, but small, intense, brief training sessions, 3 to 4 times a week max. Sleep 8 hours, lots of water, lots of protein, lots of carbs, good amount of fat. That's the basics, but that would be where I would start. And people say, oh, I'm doing everything, I can't put weight on. The answer is eat more food. You want to put a couple of extra pounds of body fat on to gain the most muscle. Hopefully that answers that question, Alex. I think you might already know the answer to that. All right, could we reverse pre-diabetic? Yes. No, it's definitely relevant. LinkedIn user, is that Vinay or is it someone else? Could we reverse pre-diabetic if diagnosed once? You look, you type 2 you can reverse. Type 2, you're full-blown type 2. Type 1, that's your body not working properly. Type 2 is, a lot of the time, is dietary induced. So you can absolutely change it. If you're pre-diabetic, which means it's just like a warning sign, like I potentially might get diabetes if I carry on the way I am, absolutely can from training and controlling your diet. Losing body fat, reducing simple sugars, simple carbohydrates for sure. But message me, we can talk about that into more detail. All right, what else have we got? Maura, you want to lower BMI? Okay, well, BMI, you know, they just take your height by your weight and they give you a BMI. Do you mean you want to lower your body fat? Because BMI, that's just a number that the doctors will use. But here's the thing, when I was at my peak, which wasn't that big, the heaviest I've been is about 84, 85 kilos, about 13 and a bit stone. At my height, I'm only 5'8", I'm a bit for short ass. Technically, I was obese, but I was actually quite lean, so I had more muscle, less body fat. So be wary of BMI. BMI is just a very basic number that the doctors will use. Like, so they look at your height and weight. So if you're 5'3" and 180 pounds, on paper, you'd say, okay, that person needs to lose a bit of body fat. But if that person was very muscular, the BMI would go out the window. So I guess when you say you want to lower your BMI, I guess you would want to lower your body fat. Do you want to lose weight? How much do you weigh? Give me your height and weight, and that will give you a better understanding of where you're at more. Hopefully that will make sense. Nat Berman, he wants to look at this. I'm going to screenshot. I'm going to screenshot that, Nat, so I can post on my LinkedIn. Right there. Screenshot. Oh, I can't screenshot it. Damn. Nat just wants to look good naked. Nat, you need to come and see me. Look, you look great with your clothes on, but I'm not sure what's under that t-shirt. I can make you look naked, and it's only going to cost you, well, a man of your caliber, peanuts, my friend. Come and see me. I can help you. I can make you look good naked. You know I can. All right, what else have we got? It is the one and only Alex Carter. Ligaments can't twist 2 steps. Get that MRI, Lee. All right, here we go. Maura wants to lower body fat percentage from 27 to 20. All right, so how much do you weigh, Maura? How much do you weigh? we'll find out. I would say probably 7% body fat. Again, it depends on your weight, because 20% body fat, if you're 150 pounds, we can work out kind of lean body mass against body fat. If you're 250 pounds, 20% body fat could be more weight. So let me know how much you weigh, but it probably about 15 to 20 pounds of body fat. Does that make sense? But let me know. Okay, 148. You're 148 at the moment, 5'4". So look, I would say that's probably around 15 to 20 pounds. Does that make sense? Does that sound about right? Let me ask you this question. When did you last weigh 130 pounds? Would that be about right? Is that where you want to get to? 5'4". Okay. Paul is saying he needs to sign off. Good to see you. Always love the energy. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Paul Tomlow needs to sign off. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Gail. Sorry, I missed that, Gail. Gail's asked a question. Just started boxing with TRX and weight training. How many days do you recommend for boxing? Well, boxing is cardio. I mean, it's tough cardio, upper body boxing. I mean, look, if your schedule, how many times are you weight training TRX? Awesome. Boxing, brilliant. One of the toughest forms of cardio that you can do. I would definitely do them on the days you're not doing weight training in TRX, for sure. But if you want to do that 2 or 3 times a week, fantastic. Again, really depends on what the goal is, the energy you have, the time you've got available. So look, if you want to be a professional boxer, you'd want to be doing that most days of the week. If you're just doing it like with everything else, so a little bit more context, but awesome. Boxing, skipping, one of the best fat burners you can do in terms of intense calorie burn, bang for your buck. 15, 20 minutes of skipping, brutal, loss of calories. But again, you need to be in that calorie deficit to elicit that body fat loss. Alrighty, what else we've got? New messages. 130 sounds good. Maura, come and see me. Drop me a message. Drop me a message. My last 3 female clients lost 22, 24, and I've actually got a couple that are over 30 pounds in their 12 weeks. So drop me a message, please. More, I'd love to help you on that if you need help, of course. So let's have a chat and off the live, and I'll certainly help you. 15, 20, 25 pounds, whatever you need to lose. Fantastic. All 3 in one class. Bloody hell. So it's like a circuit base. So it's weight training, TRX, and boxing all within 1 hour. Gail, is that right? Well, I guess the question is, how many times do you want to go? I mean, a class like that would be fantastic 3 or 4 times a week. You're going to get some great results. If you combined weight training and TRX, which is just resistance training, same thing, but it's just using the suspension rope mixed with boxing. So I guess it's cardio and resistance training in that session. If you did that 3 times a week, could be enough to get great results. Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. Great class. What are they calling that class, by the way, Gail? Is there a specific name for that? All righty. Okay. Angelica. She's 5'4", 136 pounds. That's good to know. Good to know. Where are you calling in from? Where are you watching this live from, Angelica? I would like to say, sounds like you're from Greece. Could be wrong. But maybe you're Greek and in America, or maybe you're Greek and in Greece. I don't know. I'm meant to be going to Athens in 4 weeks. You might not even be Greek, but your surname sounds like you're Greek. And Angelica is, or Angelica sounds like a Greek name to me. Vinay, nice to see you, mate. Gail, you're welcome. You're most welcome. Any more questions from anyone else in the chat? If not, I'm going to have. Yes, message you a screen grab. Gav Gillibrand coaching, awesome. I'm going to have a little drink of my Diet Coke. That won't make me fat. But don't worry, everyone. I've drunk nearly 2 litres of water with a splash of calorie-free cordial. Could you address, is that craving for sweets? Could you address, I guess it's craving for sweets, yeah. Give me a little bit of context. I guess you're craving for sweets. Is it usually, it's usually after dinner in the evening, craving for sweets? Look, when people crave for sweets, sometimes you need to give into that craving. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but know that you can still lose body fat if you control your calories and you're in a calorie deficit. So I look at my clients, when I work with my clients, I don't tell them to eliminate any foods. They can have cakes, biscuits, sugar, pizza. You can still have that. We need to control the amount of times they have them. She's saying about Gav saying after meals. So you eat your meal and then you want a dessert or a sweet afterwards. Cravings. Sometimes you just need to use a little bit of discipline. Give me some, again, some context. What do you crave? And if you were going to have something, what do you go for? What do you go for? Okay, Vinay, which one is best energy drink? None, Vinay. Stay away from them. They're crap. They're full of junk, full of caffeine, full of... I'm not a big fan of them, mate. Energy drinks like Red Bull, all those monster drinks. And it's artificial energy. It's going to give you a spike in energy. You're going to come crashing down. You get the best energy by controlling the food that you put in in the day. Good quality whole foods, good proteins, fats, good quality carbohydrates. Coffee, I'd much prefer someone drink a coffee to give an artificial boost than an energy drink. Stay away from them. My advice. Oreos. Oh, just don't buy them. You want about home. If you've got them in the cupboard, when you get a bit peckish, especially in the evening, or maybe you've had a glass of wine, too, gin and tonic, watching the TV, and you've got those Oreos in the cupboard, they're going to be calling your name. Gail, chipping away. Don't buy them. Don't buy them. Or tuck them away and say, I'm going to have this once a week. Again, this is only a concern if you're trying to control your weight or lose body fat. Hopefully that's helped. But it's going to need a little bit of discipline. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't even buy them in the first place. And sometimes have them. Don't beat yourself about it and say, look, you know what? I gave in. But as long as I'm controlling my calories over the whole day or over the week, I can still get the results that I'm looking for when it comes to burning body fat. Hope that makes sense. Vinay said he likes black coffee. Good man. Good man. Anyone for anyone else? Any more questions? How long have we been on? 50 minutes. Awesome. Well, look, let me just see if we've got any more questions lined up in the chat. Have I missed anyone? I haven't missed anyone. Okay, 1 more minute, guys. If there's no one else for any more questions, I'm going to end the live. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate that. Please come with any questions. We can do this every 5 p.m. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. British summertime. I think that's about midday in New York and about 9 a.m. on the West Coast of America. So, the last 30 seconds. Any more questions? If not, Alex comes in with a nice question right at the end. Any way to look at micronutrient deficiencies without strict testing? Put that up. I don't believe there is. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, Alex, I just had a test with a company called Medichecks. Full screen, 55 markers, full panel, hormonal panel, thyroid, liver, lung function, everything. Brilliant. A couple £100 it cost, but fantastic. T levels, thyroid levels, fantastic. I was mega overdosing on vitamin B12, so I've cut that out, and I was actually spot on everything else. I don't know. I don't think there is there? He might be trying to trick me. I don't know. You need a proper blood test. I think that's the answer. I'm not going to lie and say that 100%, but I don't think there is. What supplements do you use at the moment, Alex? Interesting to know. All right, Haley saying thanks. Gail saying great session. Maura saying thanks. Brilliant. Vinay. Simon. Oh, sir. Good to see you there. Vinay, you're have an orange drink. Ignore that. You don't need an energy drink. You don't need an energy drink. All right, guys, I'm going to end the live here. Thanks for being on. If you're watching this, you want to know what I'm going to do this next, every Thursday going forward, 5 p.m. I thank you for coming on, asking questions, keeping the session lively. Really do appreciate that. If you're watching this, the recording, you've got any questions on what we talked about, any questions at all on health, fitness, fat loss, mindset, staying in shape, building muscle, all those things, please drop me a message on whatever platform you're watching this, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's LinkedIn. I do appreciate it all. Appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. See, I like to be taken for dinner and drinks first before you slip your hands in my knicker. Call me old-fashioned. I'm kind of a big deal.